This is day 4 of the 5-day challenge. If this is the first video you are seeing, go ahead. You can start with this and then pick and choose which of the other videos you'd like to do. They aren't in any specific order, but I label them out as day 1, day 2, day 3 just for convenience. The 5 colors that we are going to be using for today's challenge and for the 5 days has been Cadmium Yellow, a beautiful bright orange, an Opera Pink, so a very, very bright eclectic. So a very, very bright eclectic pink color, followed by a purple color. So this is more of a magenta, I would say. It is something that I found in the art philosophy set, the tropical set. Love this color because it really complements the other colors from our color scheme or color palette. And then the final color being green. I have very carefully chosen these specific colors because they represent summer to me. They're bright, they're bold, and they're full of vibrancy. So for the green, instead of using the green as it is, I wanted to mix a little bit of a different shade. So I'm taking Viridian Green, a basic green color that you would find in every set. And then I'm going to be adding another color. This is a color that we already have in our previous 4 colors. So that way we are not taking an additional color, we're working within the range. But this additional color is going to change the green and give it a much more vintage look. Let's try adding a little bit of that purple to the green. Automatically and immediately you can see the color has become more darker, giving it a much more of a forest green color, like a hunter's green. And that's the color we can use for our painting today. Once you're happy with the mix, where it doesn't look too purple and it does look more green, you can see I'm adding more and more green to ensure that happens, we can move on to painting. Since this is the 4th day, we're gonna try something different. It's a really fun process of experimenting with different placements and different flowers with similar color combinations. It's always fun to play with. Using my pencil, I just am creating or planning out where I want each of the main focal flowers to be. So I've got the 2 focal flowers. I'm trying to figure out where I would like them to be placed so that they get the most attention and look great. So decided on 2 big main full flowers and then 1 that is a side angle flower. Now, using bright pink, let's add some dots with paint. So make sure that the dots are not just flat, they are full of water. And so when they blend, the water and the paint is gonna move through and create a beautiful look. For the side angle flower, I'm just doing the dots on the top side. The next color that I'm going to add is a little wash your brush with clear water and then let's pull the color through, starting from the center, gently creating long, curved, rounded petals to the edge. This way, the pink and the orange mix together to create a multi-shade. Just pulling the color from the center all the way through, one at a time, so that way you create a full flower. Always washing out your brush before you start a new petal will work really well. Now that we finished this, let's move on to the next flower. Again, following exactly what we did before, long, round petals, one at a time. And these are the main focal flowers of our painting. The fun part is flowers can be of so many varying colors, so the possibilities are endless. You can have mixed, you can have one color flowers, dual color, and they all look great. And for me, summer is flowers. Summer is bright, bold flowers. It always gets me excited. For the half flower, you can see how I've added the petals in a curve shape for 180 degrees. So not all the way through, but just half. And these have kind of become the focal of our painting. We can add a set of smaller flowers in the center maybe. I'm thinking of adding some of those I forgot the name. Wait, I'm gonna check out the flower's name again and come back. Okay, I spent a good 5 minutes looking for the name. Crispedias. So we have some Crispedias in yellow. So taking in that beautiful yellow color and painting them out. And then we can go ahead and paint out those bunch of flowers. So once you're done with the Crispedias, let's move on to our smaller flowers. I'm adding dots of purple for each, surrounding each circle. Then using bright opera pink around the rest. Once that's done, we can paint some curved petals along each circle to create each sorry, using curved circles for petals for each flower. So that way you have a bunch of flowers all together. And that's gonna look really great. So you can see how this comes together, one petal at a time. And this is just gonna look really nice. Let's add some individual buds and petals to fill up the space. And there you go. Now that we've done our base colors, we can go ahead and add a second layer to fill up, to bolden up the piece. So starting with the main front central flowers, let's take orange and paint it out. For that, let's use some textured dots for the center. As you can see, using the same orange, we can add some outlines as well. One at a time, tackling each flower is gonna just make it easier, and that way you don't skip out any of the flowers. So just going through that, let's go ahead and add in those outlines. I've switched to my thinner detailer brush because it's easier to control, as I mentioned in my previous paintings. Let's add orange to the bottom of the crispedias, giving it a little bit more depth. And finally, we have our bunch of flowers, and for that we can add our purple that is saturated, and let's paint the center and then add in those broken outlines for each flower. I'm just being careful to not add too much. These flowers are fairly small, so we don't want too much of them. Just need few of these outlines to make it look really nice. And just paint them one at a time. So we are done with our flowers. It's time now to go into our leaves. This is just going to be the easy process. So using the green, let's add leaves close to our flowers. It's going to look really great. And we can also add more leaves through the painting. For that, I think it's easier to start with the stems like we did before. So for each flower, let's do the stem from the center of the flower to the bottom. Then we can add the Crispidia leaves, add some leaves to the bunch of flowers we painted, as well as add some stems to connect the buds to the stems, to connect the entire thing together. Notice with the stems, I'm letting them kind of go haywire. They're not all straight. I'm letting it go right, left, curved, and letting it all come together. And that's just gonna look really great. So just painting each line with the thin detailer brush, going ahead and painting each leaf one at a time. So I'm adding some smaller leaves through it all. So I've sped up this process, and then using outlines, I am first drawing out where I want the leaf to be, and once I've got the outline, filling it up. So this is gonna look a lot better than just, randomly placing it. We can be a little bit more careful when we do this. So just making sure that you do the outline first, and using the thinner brush is going to be a little bit more easier. But if you feel like you are struggling, you can go ahead and switch your brushes again. So once that is done, we're gonna have a look at our painting and just see if we want to add or remove or change anything. Maybe we can add some of those yellow Crispidias to make it look better, to balance out the painting. to balance out the bouquet, adding a Cresspedia to the right. If your painting looks full, you don't have to, but I felt like there was a lot of empty space in that section, so just added a little bit of that color, a little bit of that yellow to that side. So this is our final painting. It's completed, it's stunning, and I can't wait to see yours on the hashtag Femvisionary Challenge.